Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. And tonight, the Farmer's Kitchen is outdoors.
Finally, it's nice.
Is it not nice?
Beautiful.
To hear the crickets and the dogs barking, which
That's
they're
right.
going to do tonight, I'm sure. Mojo's getting huge.
He is huge.
He's got a big bark.
A good bark. I like
good
it.
bark.
Yes.
But you know what? Tonight's kind of special, Mrs. Farmer.
Yes, it is.
Why is that?
It's our birthday.
Our show, it's almost nearing the 10-year mark because when you think about it, I had to write the song, I had to get all the stuff together, shoot all the segments.
Right.
So we've almost been doing this 10 years.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
That is amazing. Time flies.
Now, in the early days, guess who did not want to be on Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen?
Me. That's not my bag, you know.
She said, I'm not from television. Well, I'm not really from the television world either. What we do is natural. So I held her hand and I coaxed her in. I said,
And you fed me, so I was good.
I said, Nikki, please come play on the TV show with us because I have trouble cutting things up with one hand.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Which I do. So anyway, she agreed to do it. And hasn't it been wonderful?
It has, because I get to eat. I love to eat.
The real beginning for this show, I was still with Kentucky Afield.
That's right.
And did that for several years after this. But I realized when we would start to do videos on Kentucky Afield, say your dad
Right.
was canning venison. Every time we would do something like this on the show on Kentucky Afield, if we showed how to make venison stew, if we showed how to smoke something, the results were outstanding.
People loved it.
They loved it.
Yeah.
I realized at that time it was almost time to retire from Kentucky Afield. We started this, and I stepped out from there, and we started doing this, and we've had so much fun. I'm glad you came on board.
Oh, well, thank you. It's fun.
And you make the show so much better.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's a family deal. Kelly's behind the camera. She's working very hard tonight. We pay her $8 billion a year. Yeah.
I want to switch jobs
A lot
with
of
her.
it goes to taxes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
anyhow. So we appreciate Kelly's help. Tonight, we're going to take a look back. We have a huge amount of respect for those who came before us.
Right.
When I was a kid, I always hung out with the old guys.
You did.
I looked for the guys who had the whitest hair, the most stories,
Right.
and I wanted to gain their knowledge. And I gained so much knowledge from the Dexter Wilburns, the Arnold Bushes, and the old guys I used to hang out with back up in Grayson, Kentucky. You grew up in a home where people canned,
Right.
froze their vegetables, put everything back.
We all worked hard.
Nothing was wasted.
Right.
So tonight we're going to celebrate that, and we're going to start way back, and we're going to show you where I started thinking we really have to do something like this. That was Bill Dixon.
Wow.
On Kentucky Afield. Bill was in his 90s at the time, but every time he opened his mouth, he had a story.
Yeah.
And I could have sat and listened to him all day long. When he would talk about how he planted his tomatoes in the spring, he used grass clippings. But when he started talking about smoking the ham, when he talked about building the smokehouse,
People loved that segment.
when he talked about just everything he did was magic. He's one of those people that just I could sit and listen to for hours. I'm glad we documented him doing his pig killing way back in the day. Now, we haven't been able to travel this year much because of the pandemic.
Right.
So we can't wait to get back on the road and start talking to some of our friends again. But going way back, one of the earliest folks that we had on the show who we gained knowledge from was Miss Helen.
Oh, yeah. Love
and her
her.
fried apple pies. Let's take a look at Miss Helen making her fried apple pies. I know you've seen it, but oh my goodness.
Delish.
Her kitchen smelled like my great-grandmother's kitchen as a kid. Oh my goodness.
Now this rolling pin, my father got me for that when we first married, and he got it at a yard sale, so I really don't know how old that is.
So do you
And
remember what year?
we'll soon be married 73 years in March, so I've had this since then. Well, that's my apples after I've already cooked them. I'll put them in and fry them till they get brown.
Boy, Helen, those things are sitting there looking at me now. I don't know how long I can hold off and try.
Well, I want you to eat them. That's why I'm fixing them for
Oh,
you.
I want to eat them.
Well, eat them just quick as they cool.
Can I bring
You
them over
have
here?
'em. Yeah, if you want to.
They're probably a little hot right now. They're right there. I made a mess, Helen, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That right there just tastes old-fashioned. I remember, it seems like everywhere we went in years ago, the grandma was making fried apple pies, and I remember that taste. Well, I tell you what, we thank you so much for sharing your recipe
I
with
might
us.
have a flower in my hand.
That's all right. I've had flour on my hand. Thank you so much for visiting with us and telling us
Well,
stories.
I appreciate you all coming.
Well, I appreciate you having us out. Maybe we can visit in the summer. We'll do some other kind of
Yes,
recipe.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And a few years ago, we had somebody else in our kitchen. she was telling us stories about Christmas time. And I
Oh,
used to
yeah.
love to talk to the old timers. You know, we were so spoiled at Christmas. We get so much stuff.
They got fruit.
If they
Yeah.
got an orange
Right.
or maybe a couple pieces of candy, they were happy. Let's listen to Miss Dolly talk about her Christmas.
I can remember a lot of things during the Christmas time. My dad, he wouldn't buy 2 or 3 bananas. He would go out and buy a whole stalk. And then oranges and apples.
Now that was a treat.
Well, we didn't get anything like that only at Christmas time. And at Christmas, why, we'd put out our pans. Instead of stockings, we had just a pan that you put out. Well, I'd get up the next morning, there'd be an apple, an orange, and banana, and candy in it.
What do you remember? What was like the most fantastic gift you ever got? You thought, I can't believe I've got this.
I got a doll and a little chair, pretty good sized chair, and pretty good sized doll. I've still got it.
You've still got the doll?
I still got the doll and I've got the chair. You appreciated things back there then because you didn't get them all every day of the week.
So obviously our show is about cooking.
Right.
We cook in the kitchen, we cook out
yeah,
here,
gotta
we
eat.
cook at the cabin. We love to cook and we want to share recipes with you. So that's part of our show as well. Now, some folks that we really enjoy are Bobby Joe and Lois.
Yes, they're sweet.
Now, they have done so many things with us and we hope to see them again very soon.
They're like family to us, aren't
But let's
they?
take a look at a few things we've done with Bobby Joe and Lois.
Well, what do I have to do to get a slice off one of those tomatoes?
Go in the house and get this some
Get
in
a
the
knife.
house.
All right, sounds good to me. This is your outdoor gazebo office.
That's right.
This is where all the fun stuff happens. You've got this thing set up just for this, right?
Yeah. You don't have to cut each one individually. Cut them all at once.
So you know that you need a 5.5-inch bean, which measures right here. Now, who eats all the pickled beans? Is it mostly you or some other people eat?
The grandkids.
The grandkids like them?
Yeah.
So what do you call this little outfit?
I just called it a jig.
A jig, a bean
Yeah.
jig?
Matthew said, Dad, everything you do, you have to make a jig.
So where's it go from here?
Okay, I'm going to place them in the jars. I put them in as tight as I possibly can and keep them as straight as I can. Then I have a solution of vinegar, 2 cups of sugar, 2 sticks of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of pickling spice, 1.5 teaspoons of canning salt, 3.5 cups of water. Boil that for 15 minutes and then let it simmer. And pour that hot solution over them, and then I power boil them in hot water for about 15 minutes. Just let them boil and give them a good hot bath. There you have your pickled beans.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, who do we look up to the most? Who do we love the most in the world?
Our parents.
I remember, I will never forget, when Mom made chow chow.
Oh, yeah.
The smell in the kitchen and the things that she made as a kid. Mom was such a wonderful cook, still is.
Yeah,
But the chow chow that she made was absolutely wonderful.
right.
Mom made the chow chow, but I think one of the things that she made on the show that people paid the most attention to was the mock apple pie.
That was good.
This will blow your mind.
Yes.
Let's talk to Mom about her mock apple pie.
They look like little green apples.
They do, they look like apples.
Now what's the next step?
We need to put it in a pan, just enough water to barely cover it, and boil it until they're just tender. You don't want to cook them.
You don't want to mush them.
You don't want to mush them. Just cook them until they're tender, then drain them and let them cool. That's
Let them
what
cool.
you have to do.
And you said if you didn't let them cool and you went right in, they'd get mushy.
Yeah.
So you do want to make sure that you
Yeah.
rinse them, drain them, or maybe could you rinse them with cold water?
I think you could, but then you want to drain them really good. You don't want them soggy.
Yours is now chilled, and it's cut
Chilled.
into those. I mean, if you didn't know, you'd think it was a piece of apple. Same consistency.
Yep.
Now what you can do?
All right, now what we need to do is get our all of our ingredients together, the sugar, the spices, and so forth. I'll put this in here, and then we'll put those over
mix
top
that
of
up?
this. Yeah, mix it all up together.
All right, tell me what we need, and I'll pour it in there, ingredients-wise.
All right, a cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now we need 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cream of tartar.
Cream of tartar.
Now I need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Smells like apple pie to me, Mom.
Let's see, now
What
we
else
need
you need?
1/2 teaspoon of salt. All right, now this is all mixed up. Now the next thing we have to do is get our crust ready. This is
Crust?
all set.
Just like you're doing regular apple pie.
Just like a regular
like I
apple
say,
pie.
looks like Granny Smith apples, doesn't it?
Now we need to put the top crust over it. Just trim it off. Trim off your edge. We could take a fork and go around to get it together. Take this knife and punch some holes in there so they can kind of breathe after a while. Now sometimes you can put the butter on top of your zucchini, but I like to put the butter on top of the crust.
All right, got your butter out, Mom? How much you need?
Oh, just a little bit. It's nice and soft.
A little bit.
Just a little bit across the top.
Much.
Well, okay, that's okay too.
I like a great big lot of butter. Because butter's good for you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So,
They're still popping.
that's good. That's a beautiful sound. Now, just put a little bit of sugar on the top. I like to do it that way.
Pop
It's
in the oven.
ready for the
450
oven.
for how long?
450 for 10 minutes, and then you turn it down to 350 and bake it for about 45 minutes.
And in just a little while, we're gonna have some mock apple pie. The moment we've waited for. You wanna do the honors?
Okay.
I can't wait to try this. This is, another way. Like I say, so many people get that big old zucchini and think, I'm gonna throw it over the hill. Don't throw it over the hill.
You can use zucchini for so many things. It's a shame not to use them.
Because we got Dad bringing in a little, ooh,
There you
that's
go.
good. Now look at that. I dare you to, just from looks, tell the difference. Now here's the real test. You gotta be kidding me.
Tastes like apple pie, doesn't it?
I don't think I can tell the difference.
I don't think so either.
Mom, that's delicious. You've been making that a long time?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me?
Sorry about
I
that.
might have to send you to your room.
Now I'm really worried.
That's my mama right there. She makes good stuff. Thank you very much. That's
You're
a good
welcome.
recipe. Mom, you outdid yourself.
Thank you.
Mock apple pie. Your mom, who is Greek,
That's right.
has all these wonderful recipes, but the most, how can I say it? The most Greek recipe that she's done was the
Lemon rice soup, so good.
Ooh, that's good
Really good.
stuff. So let's take a look at your mom making that. Now, something about the bones and cooking the bones down is just all that flavor. It's a
Yeah.
little, it's a fuller, richer flavor. When
He
you,
started from the stock, yeah, bottom.
okay, what do we do now?
Okay,
Do I start heating this?
yes, we need to get it boiling. And once that boils, we're going to add a cup of rice.
Couple of minutes.
Once that's done, then we take it, let it simmer, okay? Okay. Then we're going to take 3 eggs.
I'm gonna turn this down and let it simmer, Grandma.
Okay, and we're going to separate the whites from the yolks.
All right, I'm glad you're doing that.
Okay, we are to beat these until they are stiff. Okay, eggs are stiff.
That's the lengthiest part of this whole process. Isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I think
It
it
really
is.
is.
Yeah. Okay, now will you pour the egg yolks in?
I gently pour them in.
Just
You can work 'em in.
slowly, yes. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we need the juice of 1 lemon. Okay, Tim, you want to add the lemon?
Okay.
Pour it slowly, slowly. Then we're going to pour all of this into a big bowl because we have to add the 6 cups of broth with the rice in here. Slowly, little at a time.
Now, is this something that he would have in his restaurant back in the day?
Yep. People liked it. Yeah. Okay, everything's mixed. And we could pour it back into the pot and just heat it up.
And just
it's
kind of simmer it?
ready to go, yes.
All right, I'm gonna stand back because I don't
Okay.
want to wear it.
And you could taste it later, maybe you want more lemon. Now, Dad sometimes would put chicken in.
So at this point, any salt, any pepper, any
We need to put
seasonings?
to taste.
To taste?
Yes. Mhm.
All right, you trust me?
Yes. I just might want some more lemon in it too. It all depends.
You like a lot of pepper, Grandma?
Yes. It needs a little more chicken taste, so can we put in a bouillon cube?
Bouillon cube, I can do
Yes.
that. I got it right here. All right, Grandma, let's try this.
Okay, let's try this.
Yum. That lemon sets it off.
Happy Greek eating. Yummy, yummy.
Now we got to talk about my dad. Now, Dad had wonderful recipes. Of course, he made the world's greatest cheeseburger
Oh.
out of venison.
We make that all the time.
Oh.
Still make them.
Now, I gave him hamburger, or I should say deer burger,
Right.
and he would make these hamburgers. The thing is, the way he made them, you could not tell it's venison.
That's right.
And every time we did this on the show and people would do it out at deer camp, they'd say, oh my gosh, we can't believe these sliders are
That's right.
absolutely wonderful. So Dad was responsible for that. But the one thing I remember him for, you know how sometimes a recipe just fills the house up with a very,
Right.
very particular smell,
Yeah.
wonderful smell, was his turkey hash.
So good.
So Thanksgiving's coming up.
That's right.
So if you need a breakfast for a bunch of people who are staying at your house
Yeah.
and use turkey, try this. This is Dad's turkey hash.
Okay, so you want me to start?
Yeah, let's do this.
We'll get this heated up a little bit. It takes about 20 minutes for the potatoes to cook. This is a couple of cups of broth. I'll put the potatoes in first because it takes them longer to cook. I'll go ahead and put these onions in there too since I got them cut up. I think I'll cut up a little bit more onion to put in there. And we'll put the meat in last because it's already cooked. And basically it just has to heat up.
Just salt and pepper.
Just salt and pepper.
Now in a minute,
And
those onions are getting my eyes. But in a minute we're gonna start getting that smell.
so the onions and the pepper really had the most of the smell. And here's a little secret. If you don't have broth, no big deal. It's almost as good with water. So, but broth is the best, of course, because you get that broth cooked into everything. This is a little bit, this is gonna be a little bit meaty, so that's, I like that.
I don't have a problem with that.
And now, what we've got here, this meat we've got here is a little better than what most of the old timers use. What they had was really scrappy. It was,
Pieces of gristle and stuff in it.
well, I mean, it was little tiny pieces that they picked off of the bones.
Just
you
picking
know?
every piece of meat off of there.
Everything, yeah. Okay, so there you go, 20 minutes.
When you went back and made it the first time, did you have to kind of experiment to get that? I'm sure you remember the smell and taste too, just like when you were a kid.
Yeah. I think the thing I had to figure out the most was the proportions. You know, how many potatoes, how many onions, and how much meat. You know what it kind of looks like. And I was telling you when I first came, I kind of came up with an idea: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 onion, medium size. 2 cups of turkey. 3 cups of broth. And 4 pretty good sized potatoes, and that makes a skillet.
That's it. What, smell that?
Yeah, I smell it.
That's the magic. So simple, but it's magic.
I think that's about as simple a meal as you could make. And when you put it over biscuits, if it boils down a little bit and starts to look maybe a little bit dry, you can add a little water, a little bit more broth. But you don't want it soupy, you don't want it too wet, and you don't want it to dry out. You want it to be able to go over your biscuits like a gravy, and then the other part too. So it's more like a stew than it is a soup. It's not done until the potatoes get soft, so it takes a while.
Look at that. The simplest things.
It might burn you up, you better watch out. Okay.
Oh man. Isn't it funny how something you eat or some music will take you back?
Yeah, bring back memories. Yeah.
That's there's something about it that is beautiful.
So simple. Let's eat. Oh, it's good.
Now, as we know, Nikki's father has passed from Alzheimer's, and we have come to deal with that.
Yeah.
And we've got to the point in our lives now where instead of dwelling on the unpleasantness that we saw, we're starting to remember
And laugh.
and laugh.
About, yeah.
And think about him in his best state of mind when things were good. Gosh, I remember his barley soup, vegetable barley soup.
Delicious.
I wish we'd have had him making
Yeah.
that. But you know what? We did set him down. When we saw that he was slipping a little bit, we set him down to the cabin, and he talked about the ice truck.
Oh, yeah.
Not the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
That's how far back Bill went. Is
Yeah.
when they would bring ice for your ice box.
Right.
Because you had no electricity,
Right.
you used ice in
Can you
a
imagine?
box.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, when the ice truck went through, the same thing. All the kids were following
Ice truck.
the ice truck.
Now, see, that's what a lot of people are going to think. Ice cream truck. No,
This
you're
was-
talking about back in the
Pieces of
day.
it was ice.
Refrigeration was not
That's all they
done
had
with
was-
electricity. You had an ice box.
And they have a big thing inside loaded with ice in the winter, and it never melted. And they would come in and just haul pieces out.
So they would cut like pieces of the lake out, put it in an insulated building.
They bring it in pieces, all cut certain pieces.
Yeah.
And they load it in the truck, and when they took it out, they brought it to your house. They would come in and set it in your ice bags.
And you said the kids would follow it because they wanted a little piece of ice for a
They were
treat.
following the truck
For
because they had to
summertime
chip
treat.
it sometimes to make it fit. It was everybody did it.
Wow. And what would it last? Maybe a week in the
I
ice
don't
box?
know. All I know, it melted and the water went outside.
And the truck, you said it was always leaking water.
Always leaking water
Because
too.
the ice
yeah.
was always melting
Yeah,
as you
yeah,
traveling down the road. Did you grow up on the farm or did you kind of move to Garden
No,
City?
we spent our summers there when we were little kids. We went there when we were little babies. So we were born in '35, and we
You were a twin.
twins.
Now, you mentioned that there was a kitchen and there was a summer kitchen.
The summer kitchen was in when the hot summer, but the kitchen would heat the house. When you got up in the morning, you'd go to the kitchen where they were frying the eggs. Oh, there was.
Well, probably wood burning stoves. They're
Well, yeah,
probably
wood burner
cooking it.
stove, and they
Wow.
would make the wood burner stove. They'd bake stuff in it. That was hot heat in the house. That's the only heat they had.
But in the summertime,
In the summertime, they went out and back, just like a door here. And this room here was the summer kitchen. They did all their cooking out here. And none of the heat went inside.
So anyway, Miss Farmer, we've had a good time tonight.
have.
So we've talked about our Facebook page, but it's so incredibly difficult to get on there. What would
It
you
is.
do?
Hit like.
That's it?
That's what you do. It's
Well, that's
easy.
not
I
difficult.
can do that.
How easy is that?
Very easy.
There's another way you can hang out with us too.
That's right.
If you want our recipes, which sometimes,
I go
now
all
that
the
we
time.
measure, we check back with ourselves.
Right.
Where do you go?
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com.
Aha.
That's where I print
You
them.
can find recipes. You can see our videos
Right.
over there of things we've done in the past, the how-tos, the building the smokehouse, so on
Right.
and so forth. But also, if you'd like to see our YouTube videos, they're on there by the gazillions.
Oh, yeah.
Click subscribe when you
Good
get on
idea.
there, and you can see anything new that comes up. It'll come out your way. We have recently gone above the 100,000 mark.
Wow.
Subscribers,
a
over
lot.
20 million views. That means they sent us a little thing from YouTube,
Wow. What do we get?
a little button or something.
You'll have to
We
wear
say
it
thank you
everywhere.
very much.
Wear it everywhere you go.
You know what, Ms. Farmer? Our half hour has expired.
That's right.
You know what that means? It's all about
Good times
good friends.
and good eats.
We'll see you next week on Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Brand new season.
Yay.
To order a cookbook, email timfarmerck@gmail.com.